Hey everybody, welcome to the final concert. In 10 years of teaching and in many years as a performer, I have participated in some pretty weird concerts, but this one takes the cake. This is definitely the strangest way to close out our year that I can think of, but I've tried to make something meaningful for you because you deserve it. I hope that you're all watching. We will be celebrating some of the work that you did this year. Of course, we'll also be giving a send-off to our graduating seniors. And I hope all of our incoming chamber choir people are watching. It's really crappy that you don't get to go to this final concert because it really starts your journey in chamber choir. We would be at St. David's Church and you would sit in the front pew and you are usually equal parts amazed and terrified about what lies ahead for you. So it's a real bummer that you are not in the church tonight, but hopefully you'll get that same sort of sense that chamber choir is not your average choir. To be in chamber choir is something special. Since 1993, the Ledyard High School Chamber Choir has held itself to a standard of excellence. And every year, every choir has upheld that legacy. You know, my predecessor, Mr. Hammond, talks so much about honoring our past and making the present really excellent so that we can set ourselves up for a bright future. And he's totally right. Chamber Choir Weekend is usually about all three. It's the time that all three are together. On Friday night, we give our final concert, our last performance with the present choir. We induct our future choir, and then we would meet for the Chamber Choir reunion concert, a tradition that is 27 years strong, and will not be happening this year for the first time, but stay tuned. I think there's a virtual collaboration coming your way. Anyway, Chamber Choir is special. Chamber Choir is a family. And this particular chamber choir, I think, is a little extra special. I am equally sad and mad and grateful that this very odd quarantine happened with this particular choir. I think this is the most capable chamber choir I've ever conducted or heard. They are extraordinarily skilled. There have been many talented chamber choirs that come through, but these kids know what they're doing. They are really skilled in the art of choral music. So in some ways, I'm really bummed out that this quarantine happened with this choir. And in other ways, I think, thank goodness it happened with this choir, who is resilient and who is persistent and who is passionate and who is willing to put in that extra work and time to figure out how to make choir happen from home. And I think we did a pretty good job of making choir at home. It's not sustainable. We can't do it forever. But I think that this kind of added to your high school experience in a really weird way. Probably wouldn't have chosen it. Probably won't want to do it again. But it's something that you'll take with you. It is unique to your chamber choir journey. So before we get into all of the virtual choir pieces that you'll hear debuted tonight, I want to walk it back a little bit and bring back some throwback performances. Some are never before seen footage of some previous performances. So my procrastination of getting things on YouTube is working in our favor tonight. And the first performance I want to look back on is actually from Convocation. So if you don't know, Convocation is like a big Ledyard Public Schools pep rally that happens on the first teacher work day of the school year. So let's say kids start on Thursday, teachers will start on Monday. And they have this huge assembly where every teacher from every school and every secretary and every custodian and every administrator and the Board of Ed and a lot of times the town council and the mayor, they all come for this big Go Ledyard pep rally thing. And lately, chamber choir has been asked to perform at convocation, which sounds all fine and good, except it's a pretty high-stakes performance, and school hasn't started yet. We haven't had class. We've never been a choir before. So I think it sets the standard and it sets the bar for chamber choir right away, that we don't have time to warm up to the school year. We don't have time to do too many icebreakers and getting to know each other things. I mean, we do them, but we got to get to work. And that's what chamber choir is. It's a job. You are a flagship group for our school. You go out and represent Ledyard High School and you sing, and you are excellent because that's the job. And you are all in this group because you can do the job. So I want to share with you our convocation performance because I want you to remember how quickly you came together to be an excellent choir. When we did this performance, I think you had been a choir in rehearsal for like 8 hours, maybe over 2 days. Not long. You had to just jump right in and get to work. So let's take a look all the way back at our performance at convocation. So I hope you enjoyed that little look back to convocation. I want to remember now one of your first big challenges as chamber choir, which was Balilaka. I have wanted to program Balilaka for many years, but I was intimidated by the language. It was so fast, and it was a language that, at least in recent years, none of my choir has spoken. But it was so cool, and I really thought that chamber choir would enjoy learning it. So, of course, I programmed it first thing to, again, set the tone that We don't take our time. We jump in, we get to work, we do our homework, we practice outside of class. We had to build those habits early. So this performance of Balilaka is from September 28th, meaning we were in school for 4 weeks. 4 weeks, and then we performed Balilaka. If you're rehearsing twice a week, that's like 8 rehearsals, maybe 10 if we had some threefers in there. But that is not a lot of time to get Balilaka performance ready, and you totally did it. So why don't we look all the way back to September 28th and enjoy Balilaka. I love that performance because you were so nervous in the beginning and then you kind of relaxed. Like those 2 last choruses, which feel like a victory lap, you really just were able to have fun and enjoy yourselves. Also, those who are new, that church we were just in is St. David's. That's where we should be tonight. We should be singing in St. David's tonight. But it's okay. We're all healthy and we're safe. We're glad about that. And we can look back at some performances we had at St. David's earlier this year. So that's good. Speaking of, on September 28th, we also made the debut of If You Love Me. If You Love Me is a piece for double choir. So the original is by Thomas Tallis, many hundreds of years ago. It's like standard choral lit. Anybody who takes a music history class or a choral lit class, they're going to learn about If You Love Me. But then my favorite group, the Swingles, they wrote a second choir part for If You Love Me. And so when they perform it live, they use their live looping mics. So they go through and they sing choir 2, and then their mics loop choir 2 and come back and they sing choir 1. I hope you can hear these motorcycles because that's what would be happening at St. David's too. I have many chamber choir recordings that motorcycles are going through these beautiful choral passages. So I hope you can hear that outside. It's apropos. Anyway, so If You Love Me for double choir. Of course, there's only 20 of you, and there's divisi in each choir, so it's a pretty complicated piece, which you, again, had performance ready on September 28th. And then lots of things happened. We probably would have gotten If You Love Me ready for tour, and certainly for the final concert, but those things didn't happen. So we got If You Love Me ready for virtual choir. So this is the debut of our If You Love Me virtual choir tonight. And I've actually been able to intersplice it with some of the footage from that September 28th performance. So that says a couple of things. That says, good for you for being so excellent in September that we could put a stage performance on. And also good for you that you were so accurate at that performance in September that we could match it with your recording that you did at home with metronome, looking at music. So there's that. I'm pretty excited for you to see that, kind of go back and forth between the two. So this is If You Love Me, arranged by Kevin Fox. So I'm pretty excited about that virtual choir. I hope that you liked it. All of the performances from tonight will be on our YouTube and Instagram and Facebook, all the pages that we post our videos. So you'll be able to watch them forever. So that's good. Next is some never-before-seen footage from the holiday concert. We spent the vast majority of the holiday concert preparing to perform Stars by Eric Eschenwalds, where our choir sings an incredibly legato, sustained piece, which is difficult for a small choir. So they have this really difficult piece of choral music to perform, but also it's written for choir and tuned water glasses. So we racked our brains for a long time about the best way to do that. I'm going to give a shout to Matt Borganon, who became the tuned water glass captain. And even right down to performance day, Matt and his team were measuring glasses and tuning them and figuring out that if you wipe them with an alcohol wipe first, sometimes they would ring a little bit louder. It was a big experiment, including a waste of a couple $100 when I ordered what I thought were two sets of musical wine glasses that in fact were just two musical wine glasses that didn't play in tune. So that was a big waste. Thank you to all the parents who sent their wine glasses to school. I know that was weird to send your teenager with a wine glass to school, but I'm very glad that you did, because I think that Stars was a pretty magical experience. I'm bummed we can't do it in the church because I think the wine glasses would have rung a little bit better than in our totally dead auditorium. But I'm pleased to bring you our performance of Stars from the holiday concert.
Boys
gosh, I just really love that piece. It's one of my favorites of all time, and I'm glad that we got to sing it. We might not have been able to do it in the spaces we wished, but I'm really glad that we got to sing it, and I'm glad that we have it on video forever. I guess that's the bonus of this concert, is that we have this recording forever. Might not be what we wanted, but we're reframing and restructuring. It's okay. So we've come to the point in our program where we are going to introduce you to some of the new faces for next year's Ledyard High School Chamber Choir. Like I said, ordinarily you'd be sitting in the front pew and you'd be wearing your tie, you'd be all dressed up, you'd be very excited. I would be excited. Your parents would be excited. So hopefully you're all feeling excited at home and you've had some treats and some swag that helps you get excited to be in chamber choir. And new people, you should have a letter in your bag that is addressed to you. We have a tradition in the Ledyard Chamber Choir that the outgoing seniors each write a letter to an incoming chamber choir member to tell them what it means to be in chamber choir. What should they expect? What should they enjoy? It is a way that the seniors are able to preserve the legacy of chamber choir. If we consistently tell our new members what chamber choir should be, maybe they will continue to achieve that and to keep those values true and to really take being in chamber choir seriously. It is not like any other choir. It's different. And I'm excited for all of you. I still have my letter that Anna Holly wrote to me all the way back in 2002 when I came into chamber choir. And I remember sitting in the front pew of the church just trembling in excitement and fear of what was going to happen to me. I was watching these singers who I really thought of as superstars, and they just came out. They were singing Amen. We did Amen last year, and they came and they started singing Amen, and I was like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I get to sing with them. And now all these years later, I still am pinching myself that I get to work with chamber choir all the time. It's just an absolute dream come true for me. And I think that for some of you, it's a dream come true for you. So don't take it for granted. Your time is short. Singing is a temporary gift. Your body will not always make the sound that you want it to. And singing with your friends is even more temporary. I've said that before, and I think that this current chamber choir will tell you that it's true. Singing with your friends is so temporary. You will never have this opportunity again. So don't take it for granted. So anyway, I'm going to tell you about some of our new members. And new members, I hope that you take some time to read your letters and keep them in a safe spot. So here we go. First up on our list is Sebastian Martel. Sebastian is joining our bass section. Sebastian is not sure that he should be in a bass section. He thinks maybe he should sing tenor, but that's not where I need him right now. Sebastian is a really hardworking and conscientious young performer. You might have recognized him from Into the Woods. He was the narrator and the mysterious man, and he came into the Woods. He was always prepared. He knew all of his music. He knew all of his lines. He was a real joy to work with in that experience, just like he is a joy to work with every day in Colonel Singers, in Final Cut. He makes up a trio of young gentlemen I affectionately call the nerds, who are all coming into chamber choir tonight. I have a soft spot for some nerds. But Sebastian is a tremendously gifted musician, and he works really hard, and he's really smart. He's kind of a perfect storm for chamber choir. So we're really excited to welcome Sebastian Martel, and his letter is from Michael Perkins. Next up is another one of our nerds, and somebody who I think has had chamber choir in his sight for many years, and that is Henry Denton. Henry comes from good musical stock. Both of his parents are Ithaca College trained musicians. Go Bombers. But Henry is an excellent musician in his own right. I'm really sad we didn't get to do Buriak because you would have gotten to see Henry accompany Colonel Singers on a really tricky gospel piece. But maybe we'll hear a little more from Henry in the future. Henry was also in Into the Woods. He's also in Colonel Singers. He's also in Final Cut. And he just is such a smart and capable musician. I remember watching him at the middle school and thinking, oh, I can't wait for Henry to get here so that I can work with him. He's a fine young man. I'm really excited that he's coming into chamber choir. So Henry, welcome, and your letter is from Ethan Diekman. Oh, the next on the list I am especially proud of. Mostly I'm proud of me for being so persistent in the recruitment of this young man, and that is Lucas Crow. Before school this year, I didn't really know about Lucas. The younger students will tell you that I'm pretty famous for going to the middle school with a little notebook and taking notes, like a coach recruiting from my feeder. And I do go to the band program, but I pay a lot more attention to the choir program. And Lucas wasn't really on my radar. He was a band kid through and through, which is great. Band needs some great kids like that. But in August, I was at the marching band preview, and I was sitting next to Mrs. Diet, and I was watching the marching band, and I was like, oh my gosh, they are great. This is going to be so exciting. And then I said, who is playing trombone? I could hear just the excellent trombone playing all the way from the bleachers during this marching band preview. And she said, that's Lucas Crow. And right then, I decided that it was my mission to bring Lucas Crow to the choir side, because you do not get that good at the trombone without being able to sing. So I played it cool. I started some rumors that Lucas was going to join choir. I sent some kids to nudge him gently to join choir, and I was so happy when he inquired about taking a choral placement hearing. And I said, all right, Lucas, I've been kind of pressuring you to think about joining choir, but I can't guarantee you a spot. As much as I like you, you have to be able to show me that you can do the job. And he totally did. He did great in his hearing. He came to chamber choir callbacks, and he did the job. It was a no-brainer to put Lucas in chamber choir. He's an excellent musician, and he has that element of bravery that you need in chamber choir to step out of your comfort zone and to do something new and to get the job done. And so I'm really excited to welcome Lucas to chamber choir. Lucas, your letter is from Peyton, another band recruit. So I'm sure he has a few things to tell you about jumping into the deep end your first year in choir. We're excited to have you. Next is Jackson O'Connell filling out our bass section. If you're doing the math, that's 4 new basses this year, which would be a little scary, but these 4 guys really are heavy hitters. I think Eli Diet is in for a treat with his new section. But Jackson comes to us. He's already been singing with us in carolers. He has been a chamber choir fan for a long time. I remember seeing little tiny Jackson at his sister Lexi's chamber choir and caroler concerts. He's always been a really kind-hearted, enthusiastic young performer. I loved having Jackson in Colonel Singers. He always sits up so straight and writes in his music so nicely and holds his folder up, all the things that you would want from a choir student. And he's super funny. And I'm really excited for Jackson to be in chamber choir. So welcome, Jackson. And your letter is from Forrest Paradise. He requested you early on. So I'm not sure what he wrote. I don't read any of these letters, but hopefully they take them seriously. And so congratulations, Jackson. So now I'm moving on to our tenor section. The first tenor I'll talk about rounds out the nerd trio, and that is Dan Kerpansky. Dan is in Colonel Singers and Final Cut. He's very smart. One of my favorite things that Dan ever said, we were debating about what key to put something in for Final Cut. We changed it a lot because, guy voices. And Dan was like, it just doesn't ring the same. when we were debating between two keys. And I was like, you know what, you're right, it doesn't. But Dan Krapansky is really smart. He will be a huge addition to the tenor section. And I just really kind of like him. I think he's just nice. He's fun to be around. He's fun to talk to. And I'm excited to see what he's going to bring to the chamber choir group. So welcome, Dan Krapansky. Your letter is also from Forest Paradise. He is a section leader. Sometimes they have to write too. Enjoy that. And our last young man we are inducting tonight comes to our tenor section. He is another band recruit from 2 years ago. He is Damien DePaul. Damien was in my music theory class when he was a freshman, and he was wicked smart. And I could tell that he had a lot of innate musical ability. So I set my sights on getting Damien on the choir side early also. And when he did his choral placement hearing, I was like, okay, this is going to work. So he sang in concert choir this year and just did a really great job. He's another one, always sitting up tall, always writing in his music, always holding his folder up. That's the kind of guy that I want in chamber choir. So I'm excited for Damien, and I'm excited for all of our tenors next year. I think it's going to be a really strong section. So congrats, Damien. Your letter is from Simon Diet. All right, this year in the alto section, it was stiff competition. We only had one alto spot open and about 800 qualified altos. So it was kind of a battleground spot. But where we kind of thought about making the decision, what kind of tipped the scales, is that these girls realized that this year there are 4 senior altos, meaning that one alto spot is going to inherit the whole alto section. There'll be the only one left to sing alto in chamber choir after these girls leave. And with that in mind, it was a no-brainer to leave this section to Ava Johnson. Ava is somebody who knows exactly what she wants to accomplish and will work extraordinarily hard to achieve that. But she is also humble and kind. She has this quiet ferocity about her. And I think that is ideal for chamber choir. If you want to be in chamber choir, you have to be determined. You have to push through. You have to have ambition. But I also want you to be kind and humble and hardworking. I want you to encourage other people. I remember Ava, her freshman year, after choral placement hearings went up, Ava was in contention for an alto spot this year also, but we ended up putting her in select. We knew she would be a huge addition for that group, and I was a little worried that she would be disappointed that she didn't get into chamber choir as a sophomore. And I remember her coming into chorale just beaming that she got to be in select singers. And then I watched her congratulate all the girls around her who also got into select singers. And my heart just exploded. I said, that is the way that I want kids to react to those choral placement hearings. I just think she has a good heart and a really strong mind. And I am really excited to welcome Ava to the alto section. So Ava, your letter is from Lizzie Jancy. All right. Oh, the soprano section. So this next young lady has been working for chamber choir for her high school career, and it's, a lot of times for these sopranos, it's always a numbers game. You just kind of got to wait your turn because there are so many qualified girls. So we like to put everyone where they will make the biggest contribution, and Abby DeRico has been making huge contributions to select, to carolers, to a cappellas, certainly to our drama program. She's such a strong performer, and she is flexible. Abby has sung soprano for me, has sung alto for me. I find her delightful to be around. She really makes me laugh. But she also works extraordinarily hard. I loved watching her prepare for her roles in the musicals, and the really conscientious effort she puts behind that. I love watching her work hard in choir at her sight reading and taking notes. I really like Abby DeRico, and I think she's a strong and hardworking musician, and I'm really excited to welcome her into chamber choir. So, Abby, your letter is from Lilia. Enjoy. Oh, this next young lady, I don't know if she had chamber choir on her radar in the beginning. I don't know if she knew how good of a singer she really was. And that's why the choral placement hearings are really important to me, is because we can find those kids who are excellent but might not know it. And Candace Jackson is excellent. She is an excellent singer. She's a smart reader. She's a hard worker. And my goodness, she is just a beautiful performer. She just radiates energy when she is performing, even when she's rehearsing. I mean, she sings from her whole heart in class, just like she does on stage. She will be a huge influence when we get to Pops. Hopefully we can welcome Pops back again. She's a really gifted and hardworking dancer as well. And I love, Candace sits in the front in concert choir. She's in select as well, but she sits kind of right next to me in concert choir. And I just love listening to her. She's on the middle part of a 3-part divisi, and she's just right there singing all the right notes in this beautiful voice. It's lilting and lovely. And also still, she is really humble and kind, and that's important to me. But I'm excited to see what Candace's journey will look like for the next 2 years. So welcome, Candace, to the soprano section. Your letter is from Aaron Tolles. And we have one more, and it is for Miss Emma Gillette. If we had like a super fan of Ledyard music, it would be Emma Gillette. Emma loves all things Ledyard music. She loves band, she loves choir, and what I really love about Emma is that she loves encouraging her peers. She's so supportive. She's so excited to celebrate other people. And she never imposes her greatness on those people. She just is great. She is somebody who comes in and gets the job done, which you've heard me say about all these people. You couldn't be in this choir if you didn't. But Emma is just a smart, kind, and quiet leader in the best way. She just makes everybody feel better. She makes everyone happy, and she certainly takes care of me. She's somebody that I can put on a project anytime, and the job will get done. And I'm really excited for Emma to be in chamber choir. And Emma, your letter is from Katie Espinoza. So those are all of our new people. I'm really excited to make music. I think they're smart, hardworking folks. I have some really big plans for next year. Hopefully we will be able to do them all. So normally what would happen now is our new chamber choir people and our current chamber choir people would perform May We All Find Home together. That's our traditional closer at Pops, and then we do it at the chamber induction because it's a song we all know. Obviously, we won't be performing that tonight, but our incoming chamber choir folks did submit recordings for May We All Find Home, which I have mixed into what we already released for concert choir, or for the Ledyard choirs for the Pops concert. So I took our digital choir that we already released, and for the seniors, I left only the chamber choir voices for the senior parts, and then I added our new chamber choir members to the middle section, and we have a new video interpretation of that performance. So while you've already seen a virtual performance of May We All Find Home, this is a new one, a new audio mix and a new video, so that we can honor our graduates, we can honor our current chamber choir, and we can include our new chamber choir people. So enjoy this performance of May We All Find Home.
place to lay our head. May we rest content with how far we have come, and may we all find home. May we all give thanks for the people in all lands, both friend and foe, who have come and have gone. May they each find home. May we all find home. In the end, may we all find home.
So I kind of love that. I love seeing all your faces together. I wish we could have done it in person, but I kind of love having this memento. Okay, so now I have to say some things about our graduating seniors. I love this class. I am sad to see them go, but I am really thankful that I have gotten to witness their development as really strong musicians. So I'm going to go in order of our arch from my left to right, as I would normally see them, which means first on the list is Simon Diet. Simon, you are somebody who has made me really crazy for the last 3 years because you are extraordinarily gifted in music and you don't always use your full potential. But boy, when you do, when you dial all the way in, I am just stunned by the beauty of your voice, by the delicateness of your performance. You just approach these phrases like an absolute professional. You lead the pack on our sight reading. I really enjoy listening to you. I really enjoy watching you perform. And I really enjoy talking to you. I think you're a good guy. And I think that you are going to be very successful if you dial in and use all of your potential. Because you are blessed with some extraordinary gifts. And especially of kindness and sincerity. And I will miss you. I have had lunch with you every day for the better part of 3 years, and I will miss you dearly. Simon will be attending Keene State College in New Hampshire. He will be double majoring in secondary education and Holocaust and genocide studies. Next on our list is Gabe Watrous. Gabe is a 2-year chamber choir member. He also comes from really good musical stock. I think he makes 3 for 3 on the Watrous siblings singing in chamber choir. Gabe listens to more choir music than anybody I know, and that includes all the choral conductors I know, my music school professors, my professional choral music community. Gabe listens to more than all of them. I remember coming to Final Cut one day, and he pulled in next to me, and his car was just blaring like Paul Mueller. I mean, it was just outrageous. But the guy loves choir music, and I don't blame him. It's a pretty good genre. I will also say that Gabe set some kind of world record this year. I don't know what the previous record holder was, but Gabe, for every day that we came to school this year, wore a Ledyard music shirt. I'd also like to give a shout out to Meredith Diet and Luann Perkins, who helped me continue to outfit these kids in Ledyard Music shirts to make a goal like Gabe's possible. But it was a great way to show his pride in the program. And also an odd but fun challenge for Gabe to rep Ledyard Music every day. It's been a pleasure watching Gabe grow into a fine young musician. He's made maybe the most improvement in sight reading than anybody from this class. He really has turned into a really nice musician with a beautiful instrument and some good skills that I hope he continues to use out there in the world. Gabe will be starting his journey to become a pilot in the fall, and I wish him all the best of luck, and I hope to hear him sing again soon. Next is Katie Espinoza. Katie, the first time that I remember hearing you sing was at Acabella's auditions, probably your freshman year. It was before I even worked at Ledyard. I was only working with Acabellas, and I always take notes next to the girls as they sing, like, oh, she's in tune or whatever. And I remember, I'm going to see if I can find it so I can show it to you on the screen. But I remember writing, like, yes, queen, next to your name when you sang your piece. You just have an incredible instrument. I mean, I have met girls who have a good belt like yours. I mean, not as good as yours, but I've met girls with a pretty decent belt, but none of them have this beautifully developed high voice that you also have. You just have a solid instrument through and through. I can always count on you to just wreck a difficult solo in acapellas or in chamber choir. It's just been a joy to listen to you. And it's been a joy to get to know you. I mean, you're so funny and you love music. You perform with your whole heart. And I will miss you. Katie is going to take a year off and work on recording new music. She has her home recording studio set up and working. I am sure this is not the last we will hear from Katie Espinoza. Next to Katie is Forrest Paradise. Forrest is the winner of our Spirit of Ledyard Music Award this year, and I am really proud of the musician that he has become. I have also had Forrest for lunch for the better part of 3 years, and I will miss having someone that I can rely on to set up the risers or fix a piece of broken equipment or fix my piano bench literally in the middle of rehearsal or change the headlight on my car. But I will really miss having Forrest as a conscientious, hard-working member of the Ledyard choirs. I don't know if he saw himself evolving into the musical leader that he is, but he's taken on that role in stride, and I will miss him a lot. Forrest is going to Quinnipiac, and he will be studying mechanical engineering. Next to Forrest sits Aaron Tolles. They are class BFFs. I don't know if you heard. They were certainly campaigning. But they are really good friends, and it's been fun to watch them sing together all year. Aaron Tolles, I feel like, has erupted this year like a volcano. I feel like for her first 3 years, she was kind of sitting on this mountain of grit and personality and skill, and she was only letting out a little bit of steam. Like, she's always been good. It's been nice to listen to her. She always is accurate, but this year she just erupted her musical prowess everywhere. I mean, she was so dedicated to all of her groups. She always was the first to know her stuff. She was the first to lead her section in every choir she sang in. Her sight reading is just off the charts. I feel like she kind of came into her own this year, and I love that. I love the grit and perseverance that I've seen come out of Aaron Tolles this year. And she certainly has been a support system for me all year long. She did an independent study with me first semester where she really helped with the promotion and digital media of our program. She's often getting some things from the copy machine for me or leading part of rehearsal if I am with a different section. She's so dependable. She's so kind. She's so hardworking. And I've really, really enjoyed this year in particular with Erin Tolles. And I can't wait to see what she does next. Erin will be also studying at Keene State College. She will be double majoring in elementary ed and music education. And I am excited that she will be bringing those gifts to the whole world and making little people and little musicians better for a very long time. Thank you, Erin, for everything that you have done this year. Next is Michael Perkins. Actually, I'm going to skip him. I'm going to do him at the end because he's the CCD. So, sorry, Michael, you have to wait. Worse. Here is Lizzie Jancy. Lizzie, I mean, if you speak about grit and passion and determination, that is Lizzie Jancy. Since the day I met her, she has just been fierce and determined and just passionate about being excellent. Lizzie has a very high standard for herself, and that is a huge contribution to Ledyard music all around. She's been an extraordinary member of band and choir, and it has just been awesome. I'm literally in awe of her sometimes and how she has grown into just a formidable young musician. And she always was one. So just to see the arc that she's been on has been a real pleasure. And I know we will hear more from Lizzie Jancy. She is going to the University of Maryland. She's double majoring in vocal performance and film studies, and she has picked up a minor in LGBTQ studies. But I have a feeling that we will be hearing from Lizzie Jancy again. Man, these 3-year kids, it's hard for me. I remember them as these little tiny sophomores, and now they're seniors. Ethan Diekman has gone through a huge transformation as a member of chamber choir. I remember as a sophomore racking my brain about what I was going to do with Ethan Diekman, because he had one of the best instruments I had ever heard, but I think the jury was still out about if he was going to use his powers for good or not. His first year in chamber choir, I don't know if he was scared or just, 15 or what, but he didn't come at chamber choir all the time with as much passion as I needed. He just wasn't quite, he didn't buy in all the way yet. But something clicked for him toward the end of his freshman year, or his sophomore year, and man, has he evolved into one of the most important people in our entire music department. His voice and how he has chosen to use it has totally transformed the bass sound in every choir we have. And some of that is a gift that he's been given, and some of that is Ethan working hard at it, and Ethan buying into choir. And now he is the first person to find the sound that I'm looking for. He writes in his music, he shows up on time, he communicates with everyone, he supports his peers. I mean, Ethan now is just integral to the chamber choir experience. I've actually asked if he would maybe consider singing in chamber choir forever, and he said that he has to go to college, which I think is pretty lame. I think you should stay with us. But Ethan, I am so proud of you. I'm so proud of everything that you have given to this program. I am so proud of the young man that you've become. And I hope that you stay in touch. You're going kind of far away. Ethan is going to Arizona State University. He's studying space and earth exploration, or earth and space exploration. I don't really know. Maybe he'll be an astronaut. Maybe he'll be the first opera singing astronaut. I don't know. He's going to do something great, but I really hope that you keep singing because the world needs to hear it. So please keep singing and please stay in touch. Peyton Hall. I like to say Peyton with the T. It's fun for me. Peyton was in my advisory. Lucky Peyton. I'm a really good advisory teacher. But Peyton was just a great member of the band, and since I arrived sophomore year, I've been hoping that I could sneak Peyton into choir. And finally, we did, and he didn't just dip his toes. I mean, Peyton went from singing in 0 choirs to singing, I think, in like 18 choirs. And man, he's done a great job. He's just, I think he likes it. If not, he's done a really good job pretending. But I think he's found a new way to make music that keeps things exciting for him. I think Peyton's somebody who likes to learn and is curious, and I think that his experience in choir has kind of bubbled up some of that curiosity. And he's just a conscientious and kind and hardworking young man, and I've really enjoyed watching him kind of figure out choir. And he's certainly just been so nice and so welcoming and so fun to be around. And he's great with the other students. And I am going to miss Peyton in my advisory. And I'm really going to miss Peyton in chamber choir. Peyton is going to Three Rivers Community College and then planning to transfer to the University of New Haven to study electrical engineering. So Peyton, if you're in the area next year, I expect to see you at our concerts right there in the front. So, next is Lilia Burdo. Lilia is another one who just has worked through this program for 4 years and doesn't let anything get her down. She just learns from an experience and gets better and then accomplishes her goals. She is so organized. One of my favorite stories about Lilia lately is when we were getting ready for the musical. I think like maybe the day of the musical, I realized that I didn't schedule any ushers. I just forgot. And Lilia said, "Don't worry, I already took care of it." I hadn't even asked her to do it. I hadn't even mentioned it. And Lilia just took care of it. She knew there was going to be a need. She booked people to be ushers. She just handled it. It was not anywhere in her job description. She just saw something that needed to get taken care of, and she took care of it. The other thing I really like about Lilia is that she has always continued to sing in our developing choirs. It is so important that chamber choir kids give back to the developing choirs so that they have some model voices to latch onto. And Lilia has always continued to sing there. And she's always been just an excellent model of what a choir student should be. She is so funny, but not in an obvious way. I mean, you have to listen to her. She is like sneaky funny. And I love that. I love when she lets a little bit of her snarky personality out. I loved, Lilia is also in my lunch bunch, and when I was pregnant and sick all the time, she was very conscientious about what she ate. Like if it was something smelly, she'd like hide it away, or she'd ask me before she started eating it. Or if she was eating a turkey sandwich, which I was not allowed to have, she was very subtle about it. Like she would hide it and take a little bite so I wouldn't get jealous of her turkey sandwich. It was just really, really sweet. She's such a nice girl and so hardworking and determined. And I'm excited for her future as well. She will be attending Three Rivers and then planning to transfer to Eastern Connecticut State University to study secondary English education. And I hope that she keeps singing also. And I hope that she will also be at our concerts since she will be in the area. Okay, so now we have to go back to Michael Perkins. Michael is a 3-year member of chamber choir. He's our CCD. And my favorite memory of Michael is his freshman year. I came to the final concert, and he was there getting inducted. And I think he was like 4 feet tall. I mean, he was so little. And he had these little boyish chipmunk cheeks, but he had a tie on. He was very professionally dressed. And it was Mr. Hammond's last concert, and I was there, and I was going to take over. And so at the end of the concert, this tiny gentleman, Michael Perkins, comes up to me with his hand out and says, "I'm really looking forward to working with you." And my heart just melted. It just melted I was just so happy and excited. And gosh, he was so right. It has been so great to work with Michael Perkins. He went from this adorable, naive tenor with this really great voice and no idea what to do with it, to somebody who gets it. He gets what it is to be a musician in choir. He gets what it is to be Ledyard music. He gets what it is to be a leader. And gosh, he's just going to do some really great things. And Michael, it has been a pleasure working with you. I've really enjoyed working with you after all this time. Thank you for everything you've given to the program and to Chamber Choir and to all that you've done to maintain the Chamber Choir family and to uphold our traditions. Thank you everything you've done for me. It has been a pleasure to work with you, really. And so I am not the only one who has some things to say to our seniors. I have a few messages from your current Chamber Choir comrades.
Hey seniors. Hi seniors. Hi you guys.
That's all you guys. That's Simon, Gabe, Katie, Forrest,
Hey Lilia, aka Quartet President.
Michael and Simon.
Aaron, Mike, Lizzie.
Hey Michael Perkins.
I have to give a shout out to Simon because he's my brother.
Hey Peyton.
Ethan, Peyton, and Lilia.
Every single senior this year.
I want to thank all of you seniors. I love you guys so much. I'm so grateful for the opportunity that I got to sing with you guys this year.
I would like to say goodbye to all the seniors and thank you for such a great year. I'm very glad I made it, and this year was very amazing.
And I love all of you guys more than anything.
I just want to say thank you to all the seniors.
You guys have all had such a big impact on me this year, not even just in Chamber, but as a person.
Thank you guys for being my best friends, for making Chamber a family.
I just feel so honored to, get to know you.
You made it so easy to just come into the choir and just go with it, and right off the bat we had a bond before this year even started, and that just grew all over the whole entire year.
All of you were such great people. You all just made me feel so welcome. I felt like I always belonged, I felt appreciated, and I felt loved and heard, and I wanted to thank you guys for that.
I can laugh with you, I can cry with you, I can focus and do some work with you.
You were always there when I needed a laugh or even just a pencil to eat.
Each of you impacted my life so much, and I'm really gonna miss you.
I'd like to also thank Forrest and Ethan for just being the two people I really looked up to this year and always helping me.
We've been through a lot together, we've helped each other through a lot.
Especially Aaron Tolles. I loved singing with you in Select, and I had the best time singing with you in Chamber, and I'm gonna miss you so much.
And I want to thank Mike for being the best CCD ever and really leading the group and always letting us hang out at his house. I'm gonna miss hanging out on Friday nights.
You guys were so supportive and encouraging and great leaders.
And you taught me so much, especially about how a section should be led.
And I want to thank Ethan for being my best friend this year and for really helping me make the transition into Chamber Choir.
I love you guys so much. You guys are like brothers to me.
I did enjoy being in Chamber with you, Simon, and I had a great year. and I'm going to miss you next year.
I'm really gonna miss sitting next to Peyton and Ethan and hearing their lovely voices.
I'm really glad I got to meet you this year. You came into choir your first year and just killed it.
So thank you guys for everything you did.
And the memories we made, everything that we did together.
You were always so nice and funny, and you were the best vice president the quartet could ask for.
I'm gonna miss daily hugs from Aaron.
Aaron Tolles, I've known you for like my whole life, in and out of school.
You're my family.
I don't know if there's anybody else that would drive me to and from school, to carolers gigs, to acapellas and Final Cut rehearsals, everywhere. Duncan, I'm not sure if I'm ever gonna find that again.
I'm gonna miss you all so much.
I'm just so thankful for you guys.
It really breaks my heart that we didn't get to finish off the year together.
Yeah, it sucks that you have to leave.
And I know it wasn't the way we wanted this year to end, but I wouldn't trade this year for anything.
We love you so much. And hope to see you again really soon.
I'm definitely gonna miss you guys next year, so thank you for everything.
I wish you guys all the best in your future.
We know that you guys are capable of accomplishing great things, and we cannot wait to see what you do next.
Love you guys.
And don't worry, me and Lily will keep the quartet's legacy running.
I love you guys.
So we have a little bit of business to attend to before we close out our evening. And the first thing we have to do is to announce next year's CCD. The CCD is a student-elected position. Our current seniors choose one junior who will be, the chamber choir leader. They will be the person who works as a liaison between me and the students, the person who they will come to if they have any questions or concerns. Michael has been an extraordinary CCD, and so I am going to let him announce our new CCD.
Hey everybody, I'm Michael Perkins. I was the CCD of Chamber this year, and my time kind of got cut short, so we can't do this normally, but still got passed on the legacy somehow, so here we are. I guess I'll talk about this first and give a brief history lesson on what this is and its importance before I get on to what everybody else actually wants to hear about. So, yeah, which is the new CCD. But I guess I'll start here. The pictures are Dr. Spillane's first chamber choir of 1993, Mr. Hammond's first chamber choir of 2001, I believe. I could be wrong. And then Miss Gomez's first chamber choir with a nice ugly picture of sophomore me in there. So that's nice. I'm ingrained in history with an ugly picture. That is great. So yeah, this gets passed down to each CCD as we go along, and it's really important. So I'm glad I had the honor of getting told it. I suppose I'll talk about the new CCD now. They are a wonderfully qualified person. I've gotten the pleasure of knowing them for 2 years now. I've known them for a long time, but got to know them in the last 2 years. Really wonderful person, very humble. Sometimes this person doesn't always think that they're doing great, like that they always doubt their voice. And it's sad because they have a beautiful voice, and I hope that they grow in and just keep working on that. Their leadership skills are incredible. They always know how to take charge and how to do it calmly, collectively. It's fantastic, and I'm really glad that I've gotten to know them over the last year, and makes me sad that I have to leave and I don't get to see how this wonderful person is going to prosper. But I know they'll do great. They'll pass on the leadership. They'll keep the traditions alive, and I know they'll do a great job. So without further ado, the CCD of next year's chamber choir is it's Lilicky Yang Yang. So I'll virtually pass this to you. Thank you for all your time, everybody, and goodbye.
Congratulations, Lily. I'm really looking forward to next year. I think you're going to be a great CCD. I'm really proud of you and all that you've accomplished in chamber choir. So for our final performance, we have a virtual choir with our traditional closer in whatever time we have. But I would like to thank again this chamber choir for an extraordinary year. I would like to welcome our new members. I hope you are excited about your future in chamber choir. I am excited to work with you, and I just want to take a minute to think about the words in the next song. I had a hard time putting this together. The message of this is that we will not take our time together for granted, and that at least we'll be together in whatever time we have. And at the final concert, this is always a difficult performance. Our students usually hold hands as their last performance as chamber choir, and I think they get it too late. Like, I think at that moment singing that piece, they get it, that they will never be this choir again, and that they will never sing with these particular people again, and that singing with your friends is a temporary gift. But this year in particular, when I was putting this together and they were singing "No One Really Wants to Be Alone," and I could make it on my own, but let me know that I don't have to, and that at least we'll be together in whatever time we have. I was just thinking about all of us at home singing into our cell phones. Forrest said to me once, "Feels really wrong to sing these traditional closers alone in my room." And I'm the lucky one who gets to hear it for the first time all together, and it is a little overwhelming after a few months of silence. To hear you together as a choir again is really special, and I know that virtual choir is not the greatest, but it is a joy to hear you together again. So, this is In Whatever Time We Have. Thank you for an excellent year, and stay tuned for bloopers. Thank you, guys.
We can face whatever comes.
So I'm gonna catch.
I got to meet them last year. They are, they've always been son of a.
I could really go for a pizza right now.
No, Reese's been farting though. I know, it's ugly. I gotta pee so bad, let me out. Let me out.
Mama! Silly goose.
How did I forget the word?
Hi everyone. No. No, because I can't do that.
Peyton Hall, in whatever time we have, take 8.
Really better take 18.
Hit 248.
Please work for me.
Dun, dun, dun. I'm not supposed to sing that.
Peyton, come here. That's it.